Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie.
And we're back with week 6 of our Tandem Fandom episodes, everyone. We are jumping into Empire of Storms, chapters 52 through 59, and Tower of Dawn, chapters 38 through 48. It's going to be a good one, but we are going to be jumping back and forth quite a bit, so I will do my best to make it as organized and as much of controlled chaos as I can. But just a fair warning, because God does give his toughest soldiers, his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, and that's us today, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up. It'll be a fun ride. But on that note, if you haven't already listened to our Hot Goss episode that came out on Monday, go do so. It is affectionately titled Maas Aelin, because we couple up all different SJM characters across all her series, and not with the people that they're actually with in the book. It's who we think would have made a good pair. And there was none other than the Daniel Alexander on that episode. I'm sure you guys already follow him on Instagram. He's a legend. He's hilarious. So definitely check that one out. It's very funny. Ellie and I had a really good time meeting.
He did like his own little thing too that was so funny. He did like Match Made in Heaven and then Match Made in Hell.
Oh, he did Made in Hell.
And I love those.
It was so good.
Yes.
I loved it.
I think
it was
you already
so
said
true.
It, but if you haven't read all 15 of SJM's books, do so before you listen to that episode. But if you have, it's like a reward. You can go check that one out immediately.
That's true. And next week, we will be jumping into Empire of Storms chapters 60 through 75 and Tower of Dawn chapters 49 through 57. So that will be a week from now. And we are nearing the end of our Tandem Fandom episodes. I know, which is so insane. I mean, with how long Kingdom of Ashes, we'll for sure have a handful of episodes for that. But it's just so weird to think that we're closer to the end versus the beginning or even middle of this journey, because we've just been on Throne of Glass for so long, and it's has such a near and dear place in my heart.
Oh my gosh,
I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it to be over, only because that means we're in the thick of holiday season, and we have a lot of fun things planned for Halloween, just the holiday seasons in general. So I'm excited.
What's your
the
favorite?
rest of the year?
What's your favorite
Christmas.
holiday?
100% Christmas.
Really? I don't think I knew that about you. I feel like I thought you're not a Thanksgiving person. That's you. You're my friend that hates Thanksgiving.
I don't, wow. Really throwing a lot of accusations
Melissa
here.
hates being grateful. You heard it here.
I don't hate Thanksgiving, but it's certainly not in like my top 5
But you don't like the
favorites.
food.
Yeah, that's why I'm not crazy. Yeah, I'm not crazy about any, like, I like them all, but they're just all the food that we typically eat on Thanksgiving is just mid for me. Like, turkey's fine. It's not anything I would pick. Corn is cool. I do like potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. But
Did I tell you what happened at work? That saying, that like Southern saying that I learned at work? I think I told you.
Yes, you did. You did.
Okay, I'll tell the pod. I was at work, and I live in the South, but I grew up in the West. And so I'm not accustomed to these Southern phrases. And one of my coworkers was like ruffling through the snack bin, and he was like, "What's in here?" And one of my other coworkers was like, "Nothing that you'd want to slap your mom about." And I was like, excuse me?
Didn't she say nothing that'll make you want to slap your mom or something?
Yeah, nothing that you'd want to slap your mom about.
Oh, and I just thought it was phrased differently.
Well, so they say this food's so good I could slap my mama. That's the Southern phrase.
Gotcha.
And so I was shocked that that's a term of endearment, but I like it. I like it a lot.
So if you start hearing it on the pod, that's why.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Nothing about Thanksgiving makes Melissa want to slap her mom.
No, it sure doesn't. My mom would not be slapped based on Thanksgiving. That's for sure. It's just, it's great. I love the reason behind it, and I like the atmosphere, and I like getting together with family and talking about what we're thankful for and stuff. But like, I don't know, it just feels more like a weekend dinner to me than like a holiday. So I don't know. It's just whatever. I know that's like one of your favorites, and I just think that's so interesting. I've never met anyone that loves Thanksgiving.
It's not one of my favorites. It is my favorite.
Okay, I was going to say, don't lie to me on the internet.
No,
but
I love
there's just not really like
Thanksgiving.
a season around it. Yeah.
I genuinely love that it's not, but it is kind of like the purpose of it is like we're going to eat. Like Christmas, you know, you celebrate the birth of Jesus, but you also celebrate with presents, and like that's kind of the big, like those are the themes. It's not so much the food for me on Christmas, and like Halloween, certainly maybe the candy, but it's really not food. Thanksgiving, it's the food. You're there for the food. And I like that.
Yeah, I get that. But when the food is not it makes it subpar.
I'm not going to yuck your yams. Oh, you can really use yuck your yams on this one.
That's so true.
Because there are yams. But
that is so true.
We'll agree to disagree.
Oh my gosh. Ellie,
yes.
Okay, what? I'm sorry. You saying that totally, I forgot until this happened. The book I'm currently reading, they literally say yuck your yams in the book, and I was like, shut up. Did Ellie write this?
Maybe I didn't mean to yuck your yams.
No,
and I've always said yuck your yums.
No, sorry. They said yuck your yums in the book. My bad.
Oh.
They said the real.
Okay.
I got confused with what it actually was because you said yams. But regardless, you're the only person I've ever heard say that. And so when I read it, I was like, this is Ellie. That's all.
I learned it from a high school health teacher.
Woo. We had the same high school health teacher.
No, not for my first year of high school because we went to different high schools, remember?
Oh, that's so true. Anyways, if you don't already follow us on social media, please do. It's at L.A.M.E Book Club Pod. And if you don't subscribe on YouTube, do that as well. I have a very, very fun, hear the sarcasm in my voice, data point to throw out here. I'm just kidding. But for real, half of everyone who watches our stuff on YouTube does not subscribe. And that hurts my feelings in real life. So do that. If you watch our stuff and you even like a modicum of interest in it, just subscribe. It doesn't hurt you or cost you any money, but it helps us.
The tone's not what I would have got. Hey guys, maybe subscribe. If you like our stuff, subscribe. It would really help us out.
Do it.
Got a classic good cop, bad cop situation here.
Exactly. That's what I was hoping for. My husband told me I need to threaten people, and I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I'm going to listen to you. So consider
Let me tell you how to work
threatened.
The internet. Let me tell you how to work your audience. Gunpoint.
See, this made up for it. We're pretty funny. We're cool. We're hip. Anyways,
we're cool.
That's all.
We're kosher. All right, chapter 52. Take me there.
I will. Empire Storms, chapter 52. Let's dive right in. Again, my favorite. Lorcan and Aelin track Aelin to the Stone Marshes and then stop and camp for the night. Aelin asks Lorcan about Maeve, and although he admits to being in love with Maeve, he carries no hope of being with her. We're already stopping because I need to talk about this.
We need to debrief this.
We certainly do. I remember
this is
being
like when you hear someone talking crap or whatever, and then you and your friend under the table are like slapping each other's hands.
Yes.
That's what just happened with this line. Like, oh, we got to stop and talk.
Yes. It's like, you know, that we'll be talking about this later. It's later, and we're talking about this.
Later.
I hated this so much, and I know that the main reason is because I don't care how a character is described. I assume a lot in my mind, and to me, Maeve is old, and I know she's supposed to be beautiful, but she's Mother Gothel in my head, and it's like weird to me that he's in love with her, and I get it, like that's not actually what she looks like, but because that's what I think, that's where I'm at, and so I had a really hard time comprehending his love for her. It felt very Stockholm syndrome-y, and I also do think that part of it is supposed to be like that.
It really was, yeah.
But it made me so uncomfortable, and I felt so bad for Aelin during this conversation. Yeah. And honestly, that's all I really needed to say.
I felt really confused. I remember being confused.
Yeah.
Like, certainly I didn't read this right because he's not in love with essentially his captor. I view her as like all of the cadre's captors because like Fenris and Connell don't really want to be there. Rowan certainly didn't want to be there.
Well,
Lorcan
Connell
to be there, but
Connell did originally.
Fenris did though.
No, Fenris did because Connell did to keep him safe. We just talked about this in the last episode.
Gotcha.
So
well, and then I don't know the situation with Gavriel, and then there's another one, the
Vaughn.
bird.
He never gets talked about.
Yeah. So
the bird.
All to say, I view her as kind of predatory, which she is.
She is.
And so then...
She's absolutely...
Yeah. So then when Lorcan's like, I'm in love with her, I really viewed it as like those people that get like kidnapped and then fall in love with their captor.
Yeah, that's Stockholm Syndrome.
It's a Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me defining words and finding out what they are right here.
After you already said it is when I said it the first time.
Not me just talking in a circle to bring it back to the main point. Wow. You really could have.
Incredible.
You can cut
We're
out
so
that
good at
whole
this.
30 seconds. Yeah.
We're so good at this.
Analysis.
All right, exactly. Ellie tells him that love should make someone happy, and she reasons that what he has with Maeve is not love, given that she will kill him for disobeying her. My girl that's been locked in a tower her whole life can see clearly in this. Lorcan admits that he enjoys spending time with Ellie, and she promises to hide him in Paranth, stressing that he always has a place with her. They kiss passionately, but Lorcan pulls back, sensing an army of Ilkin once again coming their way. Well, I guess it wasn't an army the first time, but still an Ilkin. Now, here we're snip-snapping already, you guys. Tower of Dawn, chapter 38. Kale okay. Once again, before we... Oh, wait, no, that was a different name. Never mind. I got called out so hard on our Discord today for saying one of the names wrong, but it wasn't the Coggin. It was the sun. I'm going to apologize right now. I've been saying caution for the one of the son's names, and I was... corrected saying it's Cashin.
I say Cashin.
Truthfully, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than Caution. I'm just going based off of what I heard the audiobook person saying. We even talked about
this because you said it's like that cereal brand, Kashi.
Oh, we did. Kashi. That's right. We did. I forgot about that. Anyways, I also say Coggin, and Ellie says Kagan or something. Right?
I say Kagan,
what do you say? Yeah, I'm still saying Coggin, so I'm just saying that for right now. Kale interrupts
Bring it to
Coggin.
the Discord. What if it's me on the Discord on all those different accounts just thrashing you so that you use the words that I want?
Trolling me. That honestly would be hilarious and really sad, because then I'd be like, wow, we don't actually have enough people on here, or as many people on here as I thought. Kale interrupts the Coggins meeting with his foreign trade visor. He says that he has come to speak to the visor, but not to the Coggin. He tells the visor to double Rolf's Firelance order and pays using the jewels and gold Dorian gave him, showing the Coggin how profitable a war could be for him. But this backfired, as we all knew that it would, because it was his plan. Coggin kicks Kale out and tells him that he cannot be manipulated. Kale is angry, and he and Irene get into yet another fight. He says a lot of hurtful
Kale's
things.
Misdirected anger
Exactly.
leads us here.
Once again, he is written like a regular boy in this world, and it's so not fun to read about. He says a lot of hurtful things, and then she turns and leaves. He manages to walk towards her and try to apologize, and then kisses her. The guy can't pick the lane. Kale can walk a little bit, but he still is in need of healing. Irene's birthday is soon, and she has convinced Hussar to throw her a party in the Oasis so that they can go there and look for more information. Back to Empire of Storm. Aelin and the others spend 2 days wandering the stone marshes in search of the lock. When they camp for the night, Rowan lets his shield slip slightly, and a swamp monster almost attacks Manon and Dorian. Manon, but Dorian uses his magic to stop it. Rowan engineered this scenario, though, to help Dorian practice using his magic. If you were Dorian in that scenario, how mad on a scale of 1 to 10 would you be? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be an 11. I get
probably an 11.
The sense of, I understand the sentiment behind it, but what if he didn't do something correctly, or what if it wasn't enough and Manon died? Like that? Are you kidding? It's just very high stakes. It's exactly what he did to Selena with Luca, essentially.
Yes.
The guy can't learn.
No.
Manon sees the Eye of Elena and asks Aelin about it, explaining that the symbols appear to depict the three-faced goddess, the three faces representing the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Manon also shares the story of destruction of the Kraken city and the curse that Rhiannon Kraken laid upon the Iron Teeth witches as she died, turning the land of the Witch Kingdom into the wastes and dooming the witches to difficulty with fertility. Jumping back to Tower of Dawn, my favorite part of this book. Sartaq, Nesryn, and Falcon are going to head to Dagul, which is Karen Kui territory. They find a hatchling alive there and fly for it, but learn that it was a trap, and then Kadara flies into the spider's webbing. A spider appears and kills the hatchling. Sartaq, Falcon, and Nesryn run, but they've lost Kadara. This part was honestly so sad. Like, I like the idea of there being a trap, but it was really sad that the hatchling had to die. But props to Sarah for finally and actually killing something off, because she doesn't do that enough, and it's hard to read, but it at least gets you more emotional in the book.
I don't know, like, obviously this character died. I mean,
it's not even really a character.
It doesn't count. Yeah, that's why
I know.
I don't feel like it counts. It's not someone anyone is attached to outside of like, oh, it was a baby.
It's a little
that's
baby.
It's just a baby.
Back to Empire of Storms. Manon and Dorian discuss the future of people who have Valg blood, like the Iron Teeth Witches. Manon wonders if everyone with any Valg heritage will be banished to the Valg realm when Aelin defeats Erewhon, but Dorian thinks that Aelin will get to decide. Manon is uneasy about the idea of Aelin wielding the word keys and asks Dorian why he doesn't seek to do the same. He confesses that he was the one who brought down the glass castle, and he states that his control over his power and his rage is tenuous, and he is still reeling from the loss of Sorsha, and I need everyone to stop what they're doing and watch me right here. I literally hurt my eyes so much just now with how hard I tried to roll them, because once again, we are still talking about this stupid character that I literally, we're not, yeah. At this point, it's stupid. We're still talking about her. And I'm not even going to give it more attention than I just did. We're moving on quickly. If you want to know our real thoughts, listen to our last episode, because Ellie gives some very beautiful examples of what Sarah should have done instead.
Thank you.
They reach the lock. You're welcome. They reach the lock by midday, finding a temple, and on top of an altar, Manon, Rowan, and Aelin find a chest covered in word marks. Aelin cautions them not to touch it, as it could contain a magical trap. Rowan hears Lorcan's warning call, which tells him that 500 Ilkin are headed towards them. Lorcan projects his power in short bursts in all...
That was so cool.
That was cool.
That's all I had to say. I loved reading that. I was like, oh, Lorcan's such a G. That was so cool.
I know. Lorcan does not want the Ilkin to get the word key, and for Elid's sake, he doesn't want the Ilkin to kill Aelin. Meanwhile, Aelin panics, trying to come up with a plan to fight the Ilkin. Lysandra plans to rouse up the swamp monsters to distract them. Adian, Gavriel, and Fenris plan to drive the Ilkin towards Aelin, Rowan, and Dorian, who will blast them with their magic. Rowan is angry when Aelin suggests using the word key to amplify her magic as she did on the ship, and Adian is still angry at Aelin for using her magic in the first place, summoning Erewhon's forces to them. Aelin and Rowan share a tender moment before the fighting starts, and then Aelin channels her power, blazing it into an inferno as the Ilkin approach.
This was so cool because... Wait. I feel like outside of Deanna's powers entering into Aelin, like this was the first time we saw Aelin full force as she's now like practiced and like more in control of her magic and knows what to do with it. This was really, I feel like the first time we saw it like completely explode.
I just feel like every time, like now, anytime she uses it, there's always like something. It's like, oh, Deanna amplified it, or oh, let me use the word key to amplify her. I don't know. I just, every time she uses it now, it's big and it's fun, regardless of whether it's all her or if she's like getting help from Rowan's Karanam or like whatever. It's cool because it is really like interesting to read about. So I really liked it, but I didn't. I kind of wish that it was just her all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't win them all, can you, Ellie?
Certainly not.
Elid is wearing the Ring of Anthrol to remain safe from the Valg. Seeing Aelin erupt into a flame, Lorcan uses his magic to shield himself and Elid as they come within the line of fire in Aelin's magic. Meanwhile, Lysandra tells Adian that the swamp beasts are agitated, and Adian watches Elaine erupt into a flame, and he is shocked and horrified by the depths of her power. He thinks that there must be a price for such power. Honestly, though, like that tracks. Like, I get that line of thought. Aelin's magic burns the Ilkin, while Dorian and Rowan's magic shreds them, and Adian, Gavriel, and Fenris shoot others out of the sky with arrows. Lorcan keeps his shield.
Wait, pause again.
An
Ilkin is like a little doggy Valg, essentially, right? Do you remember?
They're like winged. I mean, I guess in the sense of like a dog is like
pets,
like
basically.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So, do you remember when Aelin or Selena first had an encounter with a Valg, and her and Dorian like had to fight with every single fiber of their being to like fight this thing off, and they barely made it out alive?
Oh, and now here she is taking out like
look
500.
At her frying 500 of them because she's so honed in now. Oh, it gave me chills, like going back and remembering to hear, and also just poetic because not Assassin's Blade, but Throne of Glass is kind of like where they first encountered Valg or anything like that, where they had their first battle. And it was written when Sarah was 17, 18 years old, like young. And so the writing is a little bit juvenile. It's more YA. Till now, Empire of Storms is her second to last book, and it's written so well and so beautifully and detailed. And I feel like just the way the writing went from like kiddie to like adult, Aelin, we grew with her too. It was really cool. I really liked it.
Empire of Storms is technically third to last, but it feels like second to last if you do the tandem since like you're doing these at the same time. So I'm tracking with you, but I also want to make sure that we're being correct in the order. But yes, that I'll 100% agree with everything you said. Like I still very much enjoyed Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, but the progression of writing, just like, because I thought I liked those books, and until I got to these books, and I'm like, holy crap, I like these are where it's at. Like, so good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where I left off. Oh yes, Aelin's magic burns the Ilkin, while Dorian and Rowan's magic shred them. I already read that one. Lorcan keeps using his shield as the marsh boils. He sees Rowan walk toward Aelin, embracing her as matching crowns of fire appear atop Rowan and Aelin's heads. This was amazing. I like so vividly picture. I don't super vividly picture everything. Like when I'm reading, I'm one of those people that has like a movie in their head. So I generally try and picture what's happening. Side note, I'm also learned recently that some people do not, it's not that they can't, but like their brain just doesn't play movies while they're reading, and I cannot imagine what that must be like.
I know, it's crazy.
Some things I can very vividly picture, and some things I'm like, okay, I think I have the gist of it, and I just kind of move on. This scene, though, is seared into my memory of how I pictured it, and I loved it. The way that I imagined the fire crowns looking on both of their heads. Poetic.
Can I say something?
You sure can. You didn't like it.
I'm going to address. No, I'm going to address what you said about the imagery in people's minds. I can't imagine liking to read if I wasn't able to have the imagery. So I'm curious if you're somebody like that. Like, do you enjoy reading? I mean, you'd have to if you're here, but I am confusion.
Genuinely, and like this isn't no judgment at all. I'm genuinely curious. Like, what is the reading experience like for you if you can't imagine it? Or like if you can't see it being played out in your mind,
in your head, I found that out a few years ago. My boss was talking about one of my coworkers. They said, "Oh, I don't have imagery when I think about things." And I'm like, "So if I describe to you a red apple sitting on top of a desk that's on top of like a giant blue monster, you can't see that in your head?" And she was like, "No, I just hear what you're saying." And I'm like, "That's crazy."
Yeah. Well, and like one of my friends who's actually a listener of our podcast, and he's read all these books now because we've done episodes on them. Same thing. I talked to him. I'm like, he is one of those people that cannot picture anything. And I'm just like, genuinely, like, he listens to audiobooks most of the time too. But I'm just like, especially with an audiobook, I'm like, do you get any kind of fulfillment out of doing this? Like, why?
Are you fulfilled in your life? Are you happy?
Well, honestly, I'm like, is this fun for you? Because I'm like, if you can't picture it, what's the point?
It has to be enjoyable. But I am curious because for me, like zoning out and just like reading the words, but it's playing out in my head is the enjoyment I get from reading. Exactly. So just reading the words, I don't know if I would love it as much, but I would love to hear more about that. But then, okay, this.
Me too.
So the crowns. I felt like it was a little bit cheesy Because number one, who made the crowns? It had to have been Aelin, right? Like, it had to have been an intentional thing. So you're literally so wiped out that oh my gosh, the gavel. But she's so wiped out that the very next bullet point you're going to read is that Aelin's power is drained, but the very last is putting a crown on both of their heads. I loved it. It was a little cheesy for me. It was beautiful.
No, okay. It was beautiful, and I will accept no criticism. As Ellie just said, Aelin's power is drained from killing Lorcan. Lorcan drops his shield, and he and Aelin head toward the rest of the group, though Lorcan does not see Fenris and Gavriel disappear. Lorcan and Aelin approach the entourage, and Aelin is hesitant to be with Lorcan given his negative history with Aelin. This hurts Lorcan, though he tries to appear unbothered. My grumpy sunshine couple.
Yeah, this was a good grumpy sunshine couple.
Oh, this was a very good grumpy sunshine, because she wasn't overly sunshine. That's why grumpy... You also can't be too grumpy, but I can deal with more grump than I can. If someone is too sunshine, it's just hard to read for me personally. Yeah. So Aelin was the perfect amount of sunshine,
and
Lorcan
because we're the grumpy?
Am I the sunshine? Are you the grumpy?
Is that way? I think we're both grumpy.
We're both grumpy.
Our trope together is not grumpy sunshine. Our trope is our trope is enemies to lovers.
Ellie, I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair though, I did not know that we weren't friends. It was only in your mind that we weren't friends, and then I learned later that you didn't like me until you did.
So you have to have a different trope than me then.
My trope is just forced proximity. We went to the same school. We were forced to be together.
That's hilarious.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's so good.
When they get closer, Gavriel and Fenris act on the bond with Maeve and attack Lorcan in their animal forms. Gavriel pins Lorcan, but as Fenris goes for the kill, I love this part, Aelin throws herself atop Lorcan. Fenris bites a massive chunk out of her arm, and Lorcan resurrects his shield. However, he knows that Aelin will die if he does not let Fenris or Gavriel heal her, so he lowers his shield even as Aelin begs him not to. Gavriel heals Aelin, and Rowan tells Gavriel and Fenris that because Lorcan and Aelin are under Aelin's protection, killing Lorcan would be an act of war. This statement allows Gavriel and Fenris to resist the bond's commands and kill Lorcan. Once Aelin is healed, Aelin and Aedion approach her, and Aelin tells her when Aelin's mother saved Aelin's life, she asked for Aelin to tell Aelin how much her mother loved her. Aelin is also relieved to see that Manon is safe. This whole
I love this reunion.
Scene.
The whole reunion.
It was so good. I'm crying.
Back in town.
The boys are back. Hey. I was like a mess reading all of this because it's boom, boom, boom. Aelin saving Lorcan. Lorcan putting down his sword quite literally to allow them to heal her. Rowan stepping in so that no one has to kill each other anymore. And then the nostalgic of her dead mom, finding out that her dead mom not only saved Aelin, but that told Aelin to say that she loved her, and then she sees Manon, and it just was so, oh my gosh. She tells, I was such a mess. She then gives Aelin the word key / stone that Kaltain had given her. Aelin relays Kaltain's message about the key in the lock. Dorian appears and is shocked and ashamed that he did not treat Kaltain better, given that she has now turned the tide in the war by giving Aelin the second word key. However, though, I didn't like that Dorian felt that way, because when Dorian knew her, like, truthfully, this is the equivalent of him still thinking about Sorsha to me. He was only reacting to Kaltain the way that she presented herself. Had she not been kidnapped, I guarantee you she would still be the same annoying and self-absorbed character that she was in the first couple books. Like, the only thing that changed, as far as we know, like her quote-unquote maturity, was just the situation that she was in. And I mean, not to say that she couldn't have gotten better on her own, but it was really circumstances that caused her to change. And there's no way Dorian could have known any of that was going to happen. So I just think I like him being like, oh man, I should have treated her better. It's kind of like, well, she was a brat when you knew her. Like, how are you going to know that this was yes, we should treat everyone kindly, but like, she also didn't treat anyone else well either, especially his friends. So
yeah,
she kind of had it coming. Anyways, I just had to give my 2 cents on that.
No, I agree. I mean, I the last sentence you said, she had it coming. Like, yeah, hindsight, if we knew that how she was in the end, we maybe wouldn't have treated it. But she wasn't always like that. So how were you two? It's very similar to Lysandra and her turnaround.
Exactly.
They apologized for it, but like, how would they have known? One, they were pinned against each other, and two, Lysandra and Selena did some dirty things to each other. So
yeah, they kind of had reason to. Yeah. Even though it was all emotionally manipulated and gaslit by Arabin, like they also played into it for sure. I agree.
Yep.
Rowan is happy to see that Lorcan has been softened by his time with Elide. Lorcan is worried that Aelin's power will consume her, and Rowan explains that this is why he embraced Aelin during the battle. He admits that she is everything to him, and he needed to reassure himself that she was still there. When the group returns to the temple and opens the chest, they find a witch mirror. Manon explains that the mirror can see the past, present, or future, and it can also be used to amplify blasts. She says that Erewhon is building towers lined with witch mirrors to incinerate Aelin's armies. They have already built 2.
Let's pause.
Okay.
Let's pause. If you had a witch mirror and you could see the past or the future, what would you choose?
Ooh, I'm a neurotic little booger. I would want to see the future.
Okay.
I already know what happened in the past. I need to know what's coming. What future
would you want to see? Because I certainly wouldn't want to see my death. Yikes.
I was just about to say I'm sick, and I think I'd want to know when I die.
But what if it's like a car accident and like you don't see like the age or anything? You just know it's a car accident. You'll never drive again.
That's not true, because obviously I'd have to drive at some point. I think it would just help me. I mean, the realization can be applied whether I know when I'm gonna die or not, but really just to know to like cherish the moments. Because like if like I look in the mirror, this is terrible.
Cherish the moments now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I can do it without this, but and like this is getting really dark. But if I were to look in a mirror and see that I die next week, like it's gonna really help me to know like, all right, I gotta make the rest of this like week count.
That would really put a bummer on the schedule of the pod.
It really, you know what? We would not get to finish our third class. You'd have to do it by yourself. Or maybe Taylor could take my place. This is getting sad.
You're back up, I guess.
Anyways, I'm just sick and neurotic, so I think I would like to know that, even though it's terrible, and I also don't really want to know at the same time.
My good little friend Anxiety would take the control panel at the reins, and so I couldn't do that. I think I'd want to look at the past, but my sick little twisted mind would want to look at the past, but like not in my eyesight. I'd want to see like what people said about me like in high school and stuff. Like I'd want to get into those conversations and find out what they said.
That would just make you mad for no reason.
I like being mad for no reason. Don't you know me?
Well then, that's so true.
So that's how those are our downfalls.
Yes. Those are our toxic traits.
Answers suck. Yeah,
they both do. When the group returns to the temple and opens the chest, they find oh wait, I'm so sorry. I already read the part. They have already built 2 towers, but Manon doesn't know how many more that are being built or how many witches are in each tower. Aelin is exhausted from using so much power, and suddenly she sees ships from Melisande in the distance and a red-haired woman on the beach. Aelin greets Ansel of Briarcliff, Queen of the Wastes, who owes her a life debt. This is the last piece of the puzzle. Chills. The last piece of the Assassin's Blade puzzle.
From Assassin's Blade. We've got every character back now.
Yes.
I love
Ansel and Aelin briefly catch up before Manon enters the conversation, angered that Ansel claims to speak for the Wastes even though she's not a witch. This too kind of made me a little like irrationally upset because like I get that the Wastes belonged to the witches before, but like Manon had literally just explained to everyone, Rhiannon and Kraken put a curse on the land. Witches don't live in the Wastes anymore. So it's not weird that someone else claims to be the queen of it when it's no longer occupied by the witches. Like someone else obviously was going to move in. I don't know. Again, I'm going to get off my soapbox, but that was that on that. Ansel replies that no witches have been looking after the way, so she speaks for inhabitants. Thank you. Ansel agreed with me. Well, Ansel explains that when Aelin used her name in a pit fight in Queen of Shadows, this action sent a message to Ansel to ready her army. Yet another plan sneaky. That no one was clued in on. I know.
So sneaky.
Half of her army went to aid Terrasen, and later when Aelin sent her a letter from Ilium, she readied the rest of her army and went to the kingdom of Melisande. The queen had assumed that Ansel was there to help and let Ansel's troops in the front gate. However, Ansel took her army over and the city and its fleet and then sailed south to meet Aelin in Aelway. Aedion is shocked and angered that Aelin did not tell him of her plans, especially when he criticized her for her lack of allies. Lysandra confesses her fear of losing people to Aedion as the danger around them increases, and the two then decide to become a couple. I like how that is what, like, I don't want to lose people. Yeah, me neither. Want to be my girlfriend? Like, I know that's not exactly how it happened, but TLDR, that is how it happened. And I'm like, what a weird conversation to spur that on. Lysandra apologizes for her past, but Aedion tells her that her past does not matter.
Oh, switching that broke gears. Me. Wait, we can't just breeze past that. That broke me.
No, you're right.
Her apologizing for her past that she does not need to apologize for because it wasn't hers. Yeah.
I know. And honestly, though, like, Aedion, not to the same extent, but I don't know. He gets it, too. And that's another reason why it's even more pure that he's the one saying, your past doesn't define you.
Yeah.
Especially right after he just kind of was annoying by being shocked and angered once again that he wasn't included in Aelin's plans. He redeemed himself pretty quickly. Yeah. Good news, we're switching to Tower of Dawn. However, it is our last switch, so we are going to stay on this until the very end of the episode. The good news is that we're not jumping back and forth. Chaol can now ride a horse without a brace, and so they ride to the Oasis. Chaol tells Yrene about his guard. Honestly, I loved this part of Tower of Dawn. So this storyline within Chaol and Irene's portion of the book, I really enjoyed this. Sure. Chaol tells Yrene about his guard, how they were tortured, killed, and left to hang on the castle gates. Yrene and Chaol go for a walk, trying to find a cave, but come across ruins instead. They find columns with images on them, which turn out to be a Fae burial site, causing them to realize that Fae had been here. Chaol believes that the healers are ancestors of the Fae and that they can be used to fight the Valg. Hussar thinks that Aelin should marry one of her brothers, so Chaol reveals that she will actually marry Rowan Whitehorn, as they are Karanam and he has sworn a blood oath to her. Hussar tries to pressure Yrene to marry Cashin, and Chaol interrupts and says that will never happen. Yrene then pushes Hussar into the pool. I love that part.
Okay, let's stop real quick. So, number one, Hussar being like, Aelin should marry one of my brothers. After just reading this intense, like if you're doing the tandem.
I know.
After reading this intense battle where Rowan is her pillar of strength and like they are so in sync and we love them and we've been loving them this entire story. Yeah. For Hussar to like, in the end, be like, actually, Aelin should just marry one of my brothers for politics. Did not sit well. Hussar was immediately a villain in my eyes.
Well, and it's like, truthfully, Hussar has been a villain in my eyes just because of her sassy and like quick comments. Not just a like full villain, more just
villain. Yeah,
there it is. But it's hard because I have to remember to cut her character some slack because they don't know everything that we know from reading Empire of Storms. Yeah. Yeah. But because we know it, my emotions are all over the place reading this. I'm like, I can't.
And then it's like double damage because she's leaving Chaol to be the one to defend Aelin and be like, no, she's actually with Rowan. And I don't need Chaol to defend anybody. I feel like anytime he opens his mouth, it makes it worse. So I'm like, I hate the whole conversation.
I'm so glad you brought that up, though, because truthfully, I had to, in reminding myself that they don't know what I know, how the frickety frack does he know that she's going to marry Rowan? A majority of their relationship growth has been, I mean, they had a lot of growth in Queen of Shadows, But Empire of Storms is really when all of the like admittance of feelings and the I love yous and stuff have started. And like, my guy is on a different continent. He has not been a part of nary conversation. Like,
you're so close. Just nary a conversation.
No, I'm just saying it wrong on purpose now. I'm saying it wrong on purpose now.
I know. And okay. Well, two options for this explanation. One, Kale just kind of gets a vibe from them. The vibes are
He gets a free pass.
Or two, Sarah forgot. And I kind of vote
it's
number
probably
two.
The first. No, I vote number one.
I kind of vote number two. Okay, let's keep going.
Kale gives Irene a locket for her birthday. Since he noticed her grabbing for something in her pocket a lot, now she can keep it in the locket. And we know, being the reader, that what she is touching all the time is a note from Aelin. Kale and Irene do the deed. And honestly, let us congratulate Sarah here. Well, here's what I'm really going to focus on. Let us congratulate Sarah here, since this scene does not use either of the phrases velvet wrapped steel or purely male. So thank you for that, giving us some grace there. Irene tells him.
I didn't know velvet wrapped steel was even in any of these books. That is awful.
She uses it more than once in these books.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Irene tells him about the girl who saved her years ago and taught her self-defense. Sartaq, Nesryn, and Falcon escape on foot. Sartaq finds himself stuck, and a spider coming from him. You guys, I cried at this part.
I did too.
Sartaq tells her he loved her before he had ever even met her. I love Sartaq so much. I love Nesryn and Sartaq together.
We have to pause here before you read the next bullet. Genuinely, I've never thought Sarah would kill a character, but I was full send Sartaq is dying here. And so I cried a lot because I'm like, it makes sense. He's not a main character. He's a character that's unfortunately replaceable because it's not like he's the next in line. Like they already lined it up so any of whoever's the strongest sibling can take the Kagan crown or whatever.
It's never been officially announced either which sibling was going to take over. So we
for lack of better words, he was replaceable. And him and Nesryn did not officially establish a connection, like a relationship yet. So there's not like, it's not like killing Rowan, right? So I was like, he's done. He's like, done.
It's obvious.
And I liked him so much. Yeah. And so I was crying because I was like, way to go, Sarah. You did it. This kills me.
I know.
Keep going.
I know. And like, I think it was pretty obvious that they were interested in each other at this point. But like you said, nothing has been officially, they hadn't had the conversation. Nothing had been defined.
So it really could have left on a what almost was.
Exactly. Oh, and especially what is like another chalk to add up to like reasons why it really made sense that he was going to die. Nesryn also is, I mean, like she's a main character, but she's like a main supporting character.
Right.
Like she's also not, so like she isn't, like you said to your point, she's not Aelin. So like if her love interest died, it would be super sad. But it's not like he was next in line to be like rebuild. Rowan. Yeah. Sartaq is taken by a spider, and Nesryn plans to get caught on purpose so she can go after him. She wakes up
that
wrapped
sentence was uttered, I was like, oh boy, Sarah did not kill him off.
Good. He's still alive.
Good. Yes, good.
She wakes up wrapped in webs, and a spider finds her trying to escape and talks to her. She says that Karen Kui are awaiting the queen of the Valg to return to them and says that she goes by the name of Maeve. Maeve is a queen of the Valg. And this is where we're ending, but I also need to formally apologize to everyone here because I accidentally said this a couple episodes ago. And I'm just going to... Normally, I'm reading the chapters as I'm putting this together, but there are some times when life gets in the way. We work 9 to 5s, people. This is not our full-time job, unfortunately. And so there are times when I have to do chapter summaries in order to get everything ready in time for us to record. And that week was one of the weeks I did a chapter summary. And I apologize. They said something about there being queens, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is when it was mentioned. I messed up a little bit, so I am very sorry that I said that.
Humility
a little
on
early.
you.
Yeah,
I accept your. If I was a listener, I'd accept that apology.
Thanks.
That's nice.
That was well worded. You find out not too long after, but I did spill the beans if you're reading along with us, and I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. But yeah, it's my bad, and I don't really have a good excuse. So that's where we're ending. I'm ending on this apology. I'm so sorry to everyone.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
And on that note, I hope you all have a great week. But this is fun. I remember this revelation. I was like, okay, we talked about this in the last episode, but
yeah,
for real,
we already talked about our revelation.
I was mind blown. Yes. Yeah. I was like, no way. Like, because I knew she was.
We get this information before the rest of the cadre, before Aelin does, before everyone. And so I'm like, what are we gonna do with this information?
Yes.
Kills me.
So good.
So good.
Such good writing. All right. Love Sarah. Love you all. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Monday.
Subscribe.
Yes, and do that. I'm threatening you. Do it. I'm just kidding.
Or just like if you want.
Good comeback, cup. Peace out, Girl Scouts.